Mellow start to the morning. Good morning, everybody. Bob says everybody needs coffee now. So Michael has lulled us all back into a nice mellow morning this morning. So everybody, welcome to... You know, we haven't started making coffee again here, but we probably need to soon.
Please.
If someone feels so moved, the coffee pot is in the kitchen, so and there's coffee in there. We could make some. All right, welcome everybody to Jubilee Circle. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. We are continuing our Via Transformativa theme of the Great Light as we explore the truth about ourselves this quarter. We are created of and in light, and we are always surrounded by the great light of the holy that always is inviting us to live into our higher divine nature. So this day on the Christian calendar is known as Pentecost. It is the day when the Holy Spirit, it is said, descended on the disciples as they gathered together to celebrate the Jewish festival after the crucifixion and ascension of Jesus. The book of Acts describes a mighty rushing wind coming down on the disciples in that room, and everyone gathered there, and they were suddenly able to speak and understand one another, no matter what language they were speaking. The descending of the Holy Spirit was a unifying moment. Up until this time, it was normal. It was normal to see dichotomies, to see a separate and divided world. But the Holy Spirit, though, comes in as a force for unity, a divine wind that sweeps away all the categories and tribes and divisions and distinctions that we humans like to make about ourselves. This is a day, says Trinity Evangelical Divinity School professor Kevin Van Hooser, that reverses the Tower of Babel episode. Those people, he said, sought to make a name for themselves and a false unity based on their collective ego. But God, through the Holy Spirit, brings us this true unity because even though they all spoke different languages that day, even though they all came from different places and tribes, they were all one in proclaiming God's love in the world. And this is a reminder, Jubilants, that we are surrounded by two worlds. We have the ego's world, and we have the world of the holy. But the good news is we have a choice. We can live either in ego's hell, or we can live in the heaven of the holy. We recalcitrant and greedy humans, we want to have it both ways, though. We prefer to live in a state of double vision, with one foot in this bodily world and one setting our sights on that realm of the holy. But no one can serve two masters, Jesus says. And this day of Pentecost offers us a choice. Will we choose to stay in this divided world of fear, or will we step into the real world, the capital R reality world where love is the only thing that's real? Because if you step into one world over the other, especially if you're choosing that holy heaven, then we all get to say, oh yeah. Please rise as you're able. And we begin every Jubilee Circle celebration by remembering the four elements, the fire and the earth and the water and the air. And we burn sage as a time to remember that this is a sacred space and a sacred time. And we call the four directions to orient ourselves in this sacred time and space.
Let us turn and face the east. Holy One, awaken us to the light rising each morning. Awaken us to the light, that spirit within ourselves that arises in every moment of the day. Help us to turn toward that light, to kindle it by seeking your face in every person we meet. Holy One, bring us the light so that we may shine in this world. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the south. Open our eyes, Holy One, so that we may see the lush gardens of Eden all around us. Awaken us to the paradise where we already live. Awaken us, Holy One, to the beauty that others cannot or refuse to see. Help us to bring light to that beauty so others can see and be blessed. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the west. Be with us, Holy One, in each moment as we journey together on this beautiful blue boat. Awaken us to the needs of our fellow shipmates. Awaken us to the ways we can love those around us. Awaken us to the ways we can be the light that this world needs. Quarter turn to the right, and we face the north. We call for your wisdom, Holy One, the wisdom to see beyond the illusions of this world, the wisdom to see the truth behind the lies, the beauty behind the ugly, the hope behind the despair, and the love behind the hate. Help us see the world as you see it, as holy, innocent, and awesome. Turn back toward the center. On this day of Pentecost, we are reminded that though we seem separate from one another in body, we are all one in the mind of God, joined from eternity. We have never left this place of unity. We have merely forgotten who we are, beloved, innocent children of God who have heaven within. Let us this day and every day vow to see beyond the barriers and limits we have allowed the ego to place around us. Barriers and limits of race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, political party, or any other label we can concoct. On this day, jubilants, and every day, let us celebrate our unity, our oneness, in mind and spirit with everyone. Because when we remember who we are, all we'll know to say is, oh yeah.
All right, y'all remain standing, and for those of you out in TV land, you can download a bulletin for today at jubileecircle.com, and so you can follow along. We've got all the readings and the lyrics, and we're actually printing bulletins for people in the building these days. I haven't done that in a year or so. So if you want to see a real live bulletin and hold one, come and join us. All right, here we go. 2, 3, 4. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Big finish, y'all. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Oh yeah. All right, you may be seated. All right, everybody, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us, either live on Facebook or YouTube, or live here in the building. We are welcoming folks back to the building. If you're fully vaccinated, CDC says you don't have to sit here and breathe into an uncomfortable mask. And so we encourage you to come back, especially if you've had your shots, whether you've been fixed or not. That's none of our business. But if you've had your shots, welcome to come back. You're welcome to come back if you haven't had your shots. You just need a mask. So there you go. A little bit about us. We are an inclusive, progressive interfaith community here in Columbia, South Carolina, and we teach the timeless common wisdom of love and unity that is found in all of mainstream religions, metaphysical philosophies, mysticism, and the teachings of inspired secular and religious leaders throughout the centuries. And we seek to create a space for everyone to transform spiritually, to find life's deeper meaning, to love wastefully, to engage with the world peacefully, and to do justice, all in an effort to discover how to live into our higher divine self. And we also recognize that we are all part of God's good creation. We are formed in love and in joy, but we humans, when we slide out of the birth canal, we hit our heads or they slap us and we forget it. We forget all that. And instead, we grow up seeing this world of dichotomies, this world of paradox where we encounter things as both beautiful and ugly, or good and bad, or people as generous or stingy, or loving and
Recalcitrant.
recalcitrant. I thought, if you guys are going to save me or not. Let's see how long she'll go. But Jubilants, I invite you, remember your function here. It is to continually return to that home we've never left, to understand that we are the light of the world, and we are meant to embody and be an open channel for that love that created all of us. We all get to say, oh, yeah. All right, just a few announcements coming up next Sunday, May the 30th. We're going to continue. It's still Via Transformativa, and you would think it's summertime out there already, but it's not. Not yet. But it's hot. But we're still going to be talking about the great light, and we'll use music from John Gorka, and we will explore the light of wisdom. Who plays John Gorka music? Only Jubilee Circle. So. Tuesday, May 25th, we will continue our book club. We are reading Martha Beck's new book, The Way of Integrity, and we're going to hold discussions every Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m., either here or online. It's a hybrid meeting, so you can get. I'll get you there, Deb. We'll do that later, and we will both meet online and in person. If you're coming here, or even if there, bring your own refreshments. Copy of the book. We're going to do chapter 3 and see how far we get, maybe into chapter 4 this Tuesday, so join us. And our first Friday open mic is back. So Friday, June 4th, we're going to host our first open mic since COVID closed us all down. The Water Kickers, that's Kelly and Brody Porterfield, they're going to open up our first open mic since the pandemic, and so they'll begin at 7 p.m. on Friday, June 4th, and then the open mic begins at 8, so if you have songs to share, poetry, any other sorts of performances, come to the open mic, and we'll have a good time. All right, huh? Well, we're gonna provide some light refreshments, and as always, for a donation, we have some fun adult beverages. So, so it is by donation. So. Yeah, that's a good thing. I'm so glad. Good. That's even better news. She has money and friends. You're very blessed. But you have friends with money. Yeah, that's the. Absolutely. All right. And just a big old thank you to everyone who participated either as a performer or as an audience member. Or as crew to help take all of this out and bring all of this back in and set up the stage and do everything we did for the party in the parking lot yesterday. It was fabulous. We had lots of folks. The day was warm, but then some haze came over and it was in a breeze, and so it was actually quite nice yesterday. So thank you to everybody who came and saw what happened, and thank you to everybody who performed. Thank you to Al Black, especially, for helping us round up some gifted musicians in Langowen, and Bruce Clark and Sunshine Delusions, and Josh McGill, and CeCe and the Recalcitrants. We closed it out. And some great poets. Tamara Miles was there, Starr was there, and Al. So we had wonderful poetry, we had art, we had everything that Jubilee Circle stands for all in one place. We had music and art and spiritual expansion. It was a spiritually expansive day. So thank you all for joining us and for being there. Oh, yes. Other ones I need to thank. Yes, we had a stage because of the Columbia Children's Theater. They loaned us some panels from their stage, and so that's how we had a stage. And we had tents, thanks to SC Thrive, who loaned us some of their big tents. And so, okay, so we we thank everybody who participated in some way in yesterday's event. All right. Hear these wise and holy words. This wise and holy woman.
From the Jesus story, Matthew 6:22 through 24. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is the darkness? No one can serve two masters, for a slave will either hate the one and love the other, or be devoted to the one and despise the other. From A Course in Miracles, Lesson 130. It is impossible to see two worlds. No one can see a world their mind has not accorded value, and no one can fail to look upon what they believe they want. Fear must make blind, for this is its weapon. That which you fear to see, you cannot see. Love and perception thus go hand in hand, but fear obscures in darkness what is there. Accept a little part of hell as real, and you have damned your eyes and cursed your sight, and what you will behold is hell indeed. Yet the release of heaven still remains within your range of choice, to take the place of everything that hell would show to you. All you need to say to any part of hell, whatever form it takes, is simply this: it is impossible to see two worlds. I seek my freedom and deliverance, and this is not part of what I want. From the Muslim mystic poet Rumi. There are two kinds of intelligence. One acquired, as a child in school memorizes facts and concepts from books and from what the teacher says. With such intelligence, you rise in the world. You get ranked ahead of or behind others in regard to your competence in retaining information. There is another kind of tablet, one already completed and preserved inside of you, a spring overflowing its spring box, a freshness in the center of the chest. This other intelligence does not turn yellow or stagnate. It's fluid, and it doesn't move from outside to inside through conduits of plumbing, learning. This second knowing is a fountainhead from within you, moving out.
These are wise and holy words. Thanks be to the holy. All creation is holy word. All creation speaks volumes of the holy. Hallelujah. Let's stand and sing. 2, 3, 4. Don't you know we're all right? Yeah, I read that someplace. Don't you know we're all right? Yeah, it's a bumper sticker someplace. So you won't mind if I kiss you now. We may hear the angels recite. Don't you know in this new dark age we're all right? And I won't take from you what you can't take from me, and I'll leave nothing here that you can't use upon your trip. And I won't take from you what you can't take from me, and I'll leave nothing here but love and milk aplenty for your tea. Don't you know in this new dark age we're all right? We're all right. Oh yeah, you may be seated. At least one dancer in the room. All right. Okay, our song this morning, I'm going to take a little adjustment, so hang with us. We're going to play some rock and roll music for you this morning. You know,
Oh my God.
I know. And then we're going to play some Devil's music. We really will. We're going to do some Foreigner right here. Y'all can sit down. Unless you just want to stand up and dance to Foreigner. Yeah, that's it. You got a lighter? We're going to play real rock music today. My daddy's rolling in his grave somewhere, the Southern Baptist preacher. Foreigner in church, yes. This song, Double Vision. You can sit down, Deb. Oh, okay, you're going to dance. All right, that's fine. This comes from their 1978 release of the same name. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. The Dalai Lama who his greatest teacher was, and he replied, Mao Zedong, who you may remember was the former chairman of the Chinese Communist Party, whose attack on Tibet in 1935 was responsible for the Dalai Lama's exile and the long-standing suffering of his people. When asked why, the Dalai Lama said that Mao was his most important teacher because he gave me the gift of the opportunity to learn the most about forgiveness. So with this lesson in mind this morning, I would like to send my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to one of the best teachers I have encountered in the past 5 or 6 years. And his name is Donald J. Trump. I want to thank him this morning, and I am not in the habit of putting politics front and center in my sermons. I usually just kind of side-eye those issues. But in this moment of gratitude, I think it is important, and truthfully, I think this kind of gratitude transcends politics. Because it was Mr. Trump who helped me experience a miracle and take some giant leaps in my own spiritual growth and transformation since November 2016 and even earlier. When he was elected, I really felt like my world got turned upside down. And I think a lot of people in the world felt that way, at least those within my social bubble. Marches broke out. Thousands gathered in the street to peacefully protest the outcome. They wore those trademark pink pussy hats, and they held signs high that said, resist. And that became the catchword. That became the one-word phrase for those who opposed his administration. And I was fully on board. I resisted with all my might. I posted snarky, negative, attacking things on Facebook. I reveled in the really feel-good grievances of my liberal echo chamber, and my body over the next 6 to 9 months completely fell apart. For the first time in my life, I went to a cardiologist. I was having such frequent heart palpitations, I was nearly passing out. My blood pressure and my heart rate were getting crazy out of control, up and down and up and down. And it wasn't until the heart surgeon suggested an invasive procedure to shock my heart back into a natural rhythm that I began to question why all of this might be happening. I was stressed. I was living in a constant, triggered state of fear and anxiety. This was the world I was inhabiting, one where I always had to be on guard because there were people out there going to destroy my way of life. They were going to take away my freedoms and turn America into a fascist state. It's interesting that the other side now says that. All of that. Now, you know, I do believe there is a small, quite vocal faction of people who do want that for this country, but I think most people are like me. They know there's a better way. They know there's a better world that we can see and create together. It is impossible, A Course in Miracles says, to see two worlds. And it's true. I could not fathom a world that wasn't racked by strife and fear and loathing. Accept a little part of hell as real, the Course says, and you have damned your eyes and cursed your sight, and what you will behold is hell indeed. And there I was, in hell, accepting that this was the only world that was possible. This was the only world I could see. It took a cardiologist and a lot of good friends begging me to stop being such an awful person online to help me see another world, one that is not hellish. I could not have done that spiritual work had it not been for Mr. Trump, so I owe him a debt of gratitude this morning. He showed me quite clearly which world I wanted to live in. I didn't want to live in hell. I didn't want to live in a world of grievance and lying and fear. After that heart scare, I dedicated myself to learning how to let go of grievance while still seeking creative and positive ways to be a force for change in the world. I haven't always done it perfectly, but with Trump's constant presence in the news every day, my teacher was there to keep pushing me forward, showing me the need to be more creative, to be more loving, to be more open, to see a better world inside so I could create and help create a better world outside. The Course guides us on this journey. It reminds us that the release of heaven still remains within your range of choice to take the place of everything that hell would show you. It's there. Choice. All you need to say to any part of hell, the Course says, whatever form it takes, is simply this: it is impossible to see two worlds. I seek my freedom and deliverance, and this is not a part of what I want. Jubilants, what world are you looking at today? The ego wants to keep us in double vision, convincing us that we can live in this world of imaginary division and dichotomies, where we love some people and we hate some other people, where we accept some people and we shun others, where there's good people and there's recalcitrant people, and of course we are on the side of the angels. What if, though, what if our double vision is simply a symptom of our ego system, our ego sickness? What if we're truly called to see only one world, a world of unity, a world of love and peace and joy? The ego scoffs, of course, because it will drag out a ton of evidence to show us that's just airy-fairy woo-woo crap meant to lead us on some sweet spiritual bypass journey. But what if I told you this morning, there is a cure for your double vision? What if I told you that you really could see only one world, a happy, heavenly dream that springs from, as that Muslim mystic poet puts it, a fountainhead from within you? The first step for that cure is this: stop serving two masters. Breathe deeply. 2, 3, 4. Tonight's the night I'm gonna push it that we see any world at all is because we place value on the things that we see and the things that we want to perceive. The Course tells us no one can see a world their mind has not accorded value, and no one can fail to look upon what they believe they want. Fear, it says, must make blind, for that is its weapon. That which you fear to see, you cannot see. Love and perception thus go hand in hand, but fear obscures in darkness what is there. So we have double vision and only see this hellish world of fear and lack and greed and suffering and power struggles because, you know what? That's exactly what we value. Our culture, which we have built collectively from our common ego, it prizes competition. It prizes ranking some as more valuable than others based on random things like wealth or power or race or class or gender or education or any other category that our culture views as having value. To be left behind in this culture is to be expendable, to be abused or disposed of in some fashion. And we do that to the land, we do that to air, we do that to animals and plants, we do it to fellow human beings. We abuse anything that our ego fears will take it over. We become blind to our commonalities and our connectedness. All we see are individuals who threaten our personal goal to be the one who gets to die with most toys. But Jesus says we can't serve two masters. And we believe him. So we choose the master we value. We choose the ego. We choose this bodily world because we think at least it can give us outside tangible results like money and power and fame, and we think love and adoration and acceptance. It's not until we get so far down the path that we realize the ego's slogan is and always will be, seek but do not find. No matter how much success we achieve, we want more. No matter how much money we get, we want more. No matter how much adoration we get, oh, we want so much more. No matter how much power we get, we hunger and thirst for more. We can never, ever get enough of what the ego says this outside world has to offer. So at some point, hopefully, we will find a teacher, perhaps even an ex-president, who wakes us up, who shows us just what kind of a hellish world we have collectively created for ourselves. In that moment, we seek a better way, a true master, one that shows us visions of heaven where we live in joy and peace and love and light, and in this place we are fully satisfied. Because all that we value in this place are the true spiritual gifts that we already have that far outweigh the value of any material thing that our ego wants to give us. Jubilants, if you find yourself accepting any little part of hell this morning, and if you watched the news or scrolled through Facebook, you did it because you got irritated about something. You accepted a little bit of hell this morning. I invite you to hear and follow the most important part of this lesson from the Course. I seek my freedom and deliverance, and this is not a part of what I want. To serve the true master of freedom and deliverance, to step into the capital R reality and escape the ego's hell, we have to be deliberate. We have to carefully decide what it is we truly value and which part of this world is not what we want or value anymore. That's how I began to turn my hell into heaven. I decided I no longer wanted to live in a state of grievance. I no longer valued perpetuating fear and anxiety for myself or anybody else. So I have stopped posting anything political unless I can offer some manner of creative, positive way that we can bring love in it to transform it. And that's not easy. It's not easy for me right now, so more often than not, I just keep scrolling. Just going to keep on going. That's why I post a lot of quotes. I want to inspire you. I don't want to piss you off. And sometimes the quotes piss you off. But that's your problem. That means you got to work on something. The cure for our double vision, our penchant for wanting to keep one foot in hell while we're wishing for heaven is to remember, as Jesus says, the eye is the lamp of our body. So we have to monitor what these eyeballs take in. I hardly ever watch the news anymore, and that's amazing to say for someone who worked 20 years as a journalist and was a news junkie for as long as I can remember. When I tune into the talking heads, all I see is a hellscape. It's just grievance and fear, grievance and fear, grievance and fear, and my eyes get filled with darkness. So I seek the light. Instead of watching the news, I meditate more. I write more. I listen to teachers. I study things that show me how to seek heaven and get myself out of hell. I spend more time with friends. I spend more time with my dogs and my cats and my loved ones. Anyone who lifts me up and shows me their world of love and joy and peace and forgiveness. Am I still concerned with the state of the world? Of course I am. Of course I am. We are not called to withdraw from this world, not at all. We are called instead to be the people who can see more deeply, the people who understand there's light in our eyes. And with that light, we can see the heaven of spirit that our hellish egos seek to hide from us by blinding us with fear. If we decide that fear is not valuable to us anymore, and we instead begin to value the spiritual inner work that it takes to see a world of love, not only will we see that world, we will create it out here. I promise that is true. This world is an illusion. It is created by the ego, but the real world is still here, and it is hiding in plain sight. When we can stop seeing people as separate, or calling them our enemies, or saying they must be defeated, and instead we see them as innocent spirits caught in an egoic system that traps them in fear and greed and competition, then the darkness falls from our eyes, and we behold the light of heaven that shines through all of those people where we once saw a hellscape. We see bright lights trapped in an egoic system. Jubilants, the key is to ask yourself what you value and what you want to see in your world. Do you want to see hell, or do you want to see heaven? The Course tells us in chapter 12 that when you want only love, you will see nothing else. If you want to see heaven, then I invite you to seek to create an inner world where it can exist. Go to that inner world of love, because the more love-focused you are on the inside, the more creative and effective you will be at generating a love-focused transformation of the world out here. Because the more transformed people there are in the world, the quicker our double vision is healed, and all we will ever see is love. Breathe deep. 2, 3, 4. Turn. Okay. In the end, there was absolutely nothing wrong with my heart. It all checked out. The only cure I needed was a little meditation, A little deep breathing. A little deeper inner spiritual work. And that's even the wrong word. It's not work. It's play. It's allowing. It's being with that part of ourselves that needs to be loved and released. What really needed healing, though, was my vision. Like Jesus says, if our eyes are unhealthy, we're going to be filled with darkness. And he wasn't talking about our physical eyeballs. He's talking about our spiritual vision, of course. I was focused on the wrong world all along. All I was looking at was a world of suffering and grievance and resistance. What changed, I believe, for the whole world in the last election cycle was a healing of vision. People realized what they valued and what they didn't value and what they didn't want. They didn't want to look on a world of strife, on a world of division and fear and anger and madness anymore. Is that world still there? Sure, absolutely, because there are a lot of people who still value it. They're still blinded by their fear, and they are choosing to see that world. It makes their egos feel powerful, makes them feel in control. However, I think there are more and more people who are choosing to see a different world, not to give any quarter to that hellish world of greed and fear. And they're choosing instead to see heaven. They're choosing to see a world of possibilities. They're choosing to see a world of miracles, a world of equity and equality and compassion and love. Trump certainly played a role in that sea change, but I think the coronavirus has played even a larger role because it made all of us see the world differently, whether we wanted to or not. We've realized, I think throughout this pandemic, we have realized that everything is connected, that the abuse of the animals and the plants and the ecosystems of our world and the humans in our world, it has hellish consequences. The real world of unity and connection, however, has burst through our illusions. It's showing us the truth. We cannot foul our nest and not expect the earth to shake us off like so many fleas at some point, maybe in the near future. We have to begin to see the capital R reality of our ultimate unity and our ultimate connection to each other, to our Creator, and to creation itself. I think that's what's happening in the world today. We are awakening to our unity, our oneness. Finally, maybe for the first time ever, we are seeing a connected world. Whether it's a conscious realization or not, I think instinctively, on that deeper level, we all knew this pattern of abuse could not continue, that our very survival as a species hinged on the collective decisions that were made in the last election. That's what I believe. I think we're at a turning point. We're discovering, as Rumi once said, that there are two kinds of intelligence. One we acquire from the outside world. And thank God for that kind of intelligence, because many scientific breakthroughs have come through our observation and our experience. COVID-19 vaccines were almost a flat-out miracle. To get them this quick, that's a miracle. It shows us the amazing things that we humans can do when we join together in the common good, understanding our connectedness, when we face a common existential threat to our very existence. When we come together in the good, look what we can do. There's proof. But when we rely solely on the knowledge of our outside world, we fall into the ego's trap of competition and greed. You see that starting with the vaccines. Everybody's trying to get paid now. So we started this good thing, but the ego is going, man, you deserve some money for this. You deserve some recognition. And so we try to outrun each other and gobble up what we perceive as limited resources and limited wealth. There is, however, Rumi says, another kind of intelligence, one that never grows stagnant, one that is not impermanent, as all of the things outside of ourselves are. This intelligence, he says, is a fountainhead. It is a flowing and overflowing stream that comes from within each of us. And that is heaven. That is the real world, where that refreshing stream of love flows from within us out into the world. And we only get there, jubilants, when we remember who we truly are. We are the light of this world. We are meant to bring the darkness of the ego's world into this great light of love. And when we can do that, even for a moment, and then the next moment, and then the next moment, we will achieve so many great things together in this world that everyone will get to say, oh yeah. 2, 3, 4. All right, it's rare that we get to rock out, so because I always choose folk songs. Next week, lots of folk songs, yay! Oh yeah, so Camille is suggesting a rock Sunday once a month. Yeah,
Hey,
we just rock out.
Okay.
Hey, we also have
Go ahead.
Funk Sunday once a month.
Funk Sunday.
Sunday.
ABBA Sunday was Zappa Sunday. Oh, you're gonna need another band leader. That's just all I'm saying. It's not in my wheelhouse. All right, everybody, breathe deeply. I invite you during this prayer time. Let your inner Zappa out. It's all right. But I understand. Just understand. Contemplate. I invite you to contemplate which world you are looking at. If you're scrolling through Facebook, I know which one you're looking at. So don't scroll through Facebook as much, you know. I don't do it as much. Find those teachers, find those ways, anything that puts you in that heaven state of mind. It's not that you're unconcerned with the world. It's that you know if you transform from within, the world outside will transform as well. And the more transformed people there are in this world, the faster this world transforms into that happy dream, that better place where we can make that next step into our awakening and say, oh yeah. I gotta get back to my regular setting here.
There's a new territory that I'd never seen before.
We'll decide on a tempo in a
Like
minute.
the fire of transformation breaking through to my core, shining bright in the darkness. I can see the light of day, and there's a new territory. It's our strength. It's our way, it's a new territory. It's our strength, so let us pray.
Well, I pray you'll see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. Wake up,
Wake up,
wake up and see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. Let go and see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. Say yes,
say yes,
say yes and see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. Forgive, forgive and see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. Well, I pray you'll see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything.
there's a new territory that I never saw before. Like a fire of transformation breaking through to my core, shining bright in the darkness. I can see the light of day, and there's a new territory. It's our strength, it's my way. Set a new territory. It's our strength, so let us pray.
Well, I pray you'll see the best of life, the best of love, the very best of everything. Oh, yeah. All right. So we're about to go to our Zoom room. I invite you to join us there. We can have a little chat and talk back and fellowship here in the room and also out there. So join us. The Zoom link is on our Facebook page and also at jubileecircle.com. We were on a really small stage yesterday, so this is like massive space. And this is the point where I invite you to support Jubilee Circle. We have several ways for you to give. You can give online at jubileecircle.com. You can give on Venmo. You can go to @jubileecircle.com and give there. And yesterday was part of our new direction here at Jubilee Circle. Actually, it's been our direction all along. We were just wandering in the wilderness, and now we have come to this place and gone, oh, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Yesterday's event was really part of that because we did a party in the parking lot. We had lots of musicians and community members, and music is actually one of those things that expands us. Music is that language that speaks to everyone. It speaks to your heart. It speaks in ways that simple words cannot do. And so one of the things that we enjoy doing most here at Jubilee Circle is hosting musical events, because that is a spiritual expansion. It is a way for Holy Spirit to speak to us and move us in ways that just talking about things, or it's an experience, an experiential thing. And so we want to do more of that. And so, of course, our First Friday open mic will be coming up on June 4th, and that's an experience that we want to get back to having here at Jubilee Circle. And also we will have plans in the works for some speakers and some workshops and ways that you can deepen your own spiritual walk and figure out ways to allow all of this stuff that needs to come up and be released, and so you can stop seeing a world of hell out there. And because the only reason we see the world of hell out there is because we've created one in here. And if we begin the task of creating, the play, the allowing to make that inner world as heavenly as possible, then we will begin to see that heaven manifest all around us. And oh yeah, and I I can give a testimony. I used to be a very angry person, and I lived in a very angry world. And the moment I gave up my anger, all the angry people went away. It's amazing. All I saw was a world of love and peace and joy and people who did that. And so, honestly, really, everybody goes, oh, that's just woo-woo, blah-de-blah. And I would have said that years ago, too. But it's not. If you can create that loving world within, I swear the world becomes loving and amazing around you. And that's what Jubilee Circle is here to do, to help you do that, to make that transformation and become that love and that peace and joy, not just that you want within your own body and your heart and mind and soul, but what you want out in the world. So I invite you to be part of that. Support us in our mission as we seek to do that. And we will be headed to the Zoom room here in just a second. If you are joining us there, we will see you there. If you are not joining us there, then I wish you a happy and wonderful and prosperous and peaceful and joyful week. And remember, our friend Meister Eckhart always tells us that if the only prayer you ever say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. And when you create that world of gratitude within, that prayer of thank you is all you need, because that gratitude will be the world that you live in. And when you create that world within and you see that world without, there is only one thing that will be on your lips all the time. You'll be looking around and you'll be seeing that world and you will say, oh, yeah! We all walk together, hand in hand, side by side. We all walk together with hearts and arms open wide. We make our way by walking in love, we will abide. The path is always open, no traveler is denied. So open up your heart, let those tears you cry, because we all walk together, hand in hand, side by side. We all walk together, hand in hand, side by side. Oh yeah. Thank you all for joining us.